Emma, a boudoir photographer, published author, and self-love advocate, and I'm all about community over competition. So on today's episode of Sharing is Caring, I would love to introduce you to Sara. Sara is a boudoir client of mine, and she apparently has been following along my journey on social media for quite some time. And that's what prompted her to jump into the Be You Uplifted group that we have on Facebook. So I reached out and Sara said yes to sharing her self-love journey. And she describes herself as the self-love novice. It just goes to show that you do not have to have been on your journey to have experienced things and to have things to share. So here's Sara. So Sara, I am so happy that you could join me today and answer a few questions about your own self-love journey. I know that we've had a little chat before and you threw words out there like novice and beginner and different things like that. And I just want to reiterate to people that it doesn't matter where you're at on your self-love journey, you have an experience and you have something to teach. So I'm so happy that you're here and we're going to jump straight into the questions. Are you ready?
Definitely.
Yep. Okay. So how long have you been prioritizing you?
Well, kind of what I've called myself is I'm the debutante of self-love, the rookie. I haven't really been doing it for very long. It just never really was something that I took time to really focus on and would just, go through day-to-day motions and not thinking of my own well-being and even dealing with struggles, mental, physical, outside surroundings. It's just what I really do. And so I really want to say the main of putting it as a priority, less than a year. And specifically, maybe only the last 6 months have I really taken an even greater focus and set guidelines of what I will and will not do, of what is important.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, again, like we've both said, really, it doesn't matter how long you've been on it. I think what matters is that you start and that you do figure out that you need to prioritize you.
And everybody can start somewhere, and it doesn't matter, ideally I think most people seem to do it at some point when they're children, because, it's all about the play and everything else. And then it just, that early adulthood, there's so much more focused on just adulting and all the rules and things that have to happen, not so much about taking care of yourself, more just everything else around it. And it kind of just becomes a forethought. So, yeah. And it's never too late to start. You can, the sooner that you start, the better, but really it's because it's just about your own well-being. Yeah. Whenever you do get started.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it. So leading on from that, what was your aha moment? Why did you start to really focus on you? Why did you start your self-love journey?
I don't think I had one particular moment. I think the few years prior, there was a few aha moments. I mean, I'm not going to say especially the last couple of years, I went through a divorce. I've had COVID's definitely been a factor as well, of terms of, that struggle of socialization and, just getting out in the world and, work struggles. And, of course, when the news, it's also it can only make you feel less confident. And, it's the social media bullies and stuff like that. It's, it got to be exhausting. So, just the few years prior has just been a really rough go. So yeah, not just one moment. It was kind of, hey, I really need to take care of myself and find things that bring me joy and to, sometimes knock out everything else that's going on and making me what matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know COVID gets thrown around a lot these days, but it has got a lot to answer for, good and bad, I must say. But yeah, I think COVID has really made us assess what we need or want, or what we don't need and want, and that is a great start of a journey, like just assessing, okay, what does my life look like and what do I want it to look like? It can be
I moved twice during COVID too, so that's an extra hard thing. Like,
yeah,
it's just, it all kind of gets to you. So it's just, and just with when you're not supposed to see too many people, and then it's like, oh, wait, we can see people, and
yeah, and then you don't know where you're at because they keep changing it. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm an introvert, and at first I was like, oh yeah, I can totally cope with this. I like being on my own. I can be at home. I'm a recluse. And it did start off that way, and then eventually I'm like, oh my goodness, I just need to see people. I'm not an introvert anymore. No, I am really, but but yeah, it just makes you realize that connection is a huge part of self-love too, even if you are an introvert. Yeah. So when you are in a funk or feeling down or low or anything like that, kind of like in a negative headspace, what would you say really gets you out of that the quickest?
One thing I always used to only do was, it's like, okay, fresh air, and I have a dog, and so taking care of dogs has always been the thing, but it's like, okay, go outside, get some fresh air, take 5 minutes, take a breathing space. But the other thing that I've recently incorporated into, about, I want to say maybe it was 6 months ago, that at the end, right before bed, I would find 3 things that I was grateful for at the end of the day. And it might be little things. It'd be like, hey, I didn't have to drive today, or, oh man, I had a really delicious dinner, and like little things. But then as I recently started talking to people, is, why are you only ending your day on a positive note? Because you also have to start the day trying to be positive. And so I do the same thing in the morning too. When I wake up, it's like, okay, what am I looking forward to? What is going to bring me joy today? I might even have already opened up the blinds. It might be, oh, the sun's shining, or, oh, I'm going to see my friend today, or I get to babysit my nephews, or whatever else. And so having, as I say, the fresh air, even 5 minutes to take a walk. And then, that if I'm already kind of, right before bed, something happens, or even I have the starting and ending of my day positive, and finding some things that went right in the day, even though sometimes not the whole day does go right. It's like, okay, let's circle back. Let's find what has been okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And do you just like, is that a thought process, or do you actually write them down and journal?
I tried to write it down, and it just wasn't for me, but it's like my now reflecting thoughts of, because I also would, like, I started writing it down, and then got where I was, it ended up turning to a bit of a negative, because I was doing some things, it would be 3 days in a row where I'm grateful for the same thing. And I kind of wanted to expand my memory, and I didn't want to be down on that I was grateful for the same thing. I wanted to, if I don't write it down and I don't look at it, then so what if I'm using the same thing 3 days in a row? Like, if I'm still grateful for it, then I want to be able to focus on that positive element rather than, feeling that it was more of a negative. So for me, it works better to just think it, and 3 things, that's it. It's not too many things that's like, oh gosh, and being stressed out about finding too many. And sometimes there is more. It's like, oh, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, yay, or I get to do all these exciting things today. But it's like, okay, you know what, let's just be simple and keep it easy, and so that it doesn't seem like work, and it's easy to stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, just because you say 3 doesn't mean you have to, it doesn't mean you can't go beyond 3 if it's like being an absolutely amazing day. But I think 3 is a small enough number to reach, and a big enough number for you to really think about it.
Yeah. And as I say, I know some people, I know you are the journal expert, and there's journals, and lots of people like the writing of things down better, but was something that I was not feeling as confident in. So, but yeah, power to the people that can write it. And then I guess it'd be really interesting at the end of the year to have every day and all the joys of over the year. It's like, oh yeah, this is when that happened, and oh yeah, and
like you have the documentation. But like, you know, if it's not for you, it's not for you, and each to their own. You just got to find what works for you, right? Yeah. So what would be your top tip for anybody else that's starting on their self-love journey or struggling with it?
I was really struggling with this because it's like one thing to say is just so hard. You know, everybody has things that might work for them and other things that won't work for them. In one ways, the number one thing is to say, don't do it alone. But at the same time, if you may not want other, you know, you don't know how to find people, like, you know, the Be You Uplifted group is great for that. You know, you can just kind of be a innocent bystander and just kind of watch the comments come in, and it's a positive group to find. But some people don't want to do any social media, so maybe that's not for them. Maybe, and now is also tough times to find like community groups where you can meet and discuss, but there's always that. For some people, you know, you can always foster animals. I mean, I don't want to say that that's for everybody, but every single rescue out there is always looking for foster homes. You can foster kittens, you can foster adult cats, you can foster puppies, you can foster, a lot of them will even, you can foster bunnies, and you can foster other creatures that might work for you. Maybe you don't have, you know, and you can foster in a little apartment, you know, you just the right animal. Maybe you can find, you know, that if you want to be near horses or other things. So I don't think you can say just one tip, because everybody's different and everybody needs different resources. You know, maybe some people, they want to stick to staying inside, they don't want to be out. Maybe you can download books, you can, you know, just read things online, or, you know, pick up the Amazon order and, you know, get some books and, you know, just read online for some resources of kind of, you know, little things. Maybe for some people it is just to journal your thoughts daily. But yeah, I don't want to say that there's really one thing to do, because that's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah, and you make a great point, but I really do love your point about the animals. I feel like that would be huge for my soul. I just have a husband that's freaking allergic to everything. And I want to be able to foster all the things. So my long-term goal, like my retirement goal, is to do something like that, though, because I have the space for it, I have the land for it, and like I can just build, you know, a separate little animal shelter, and I'll be like, you stay out of there, and and I'll do it. Yeah, but
and it's not like different things work for different people, so it's just a matter of, you know, maybe experimenting. Maybe you try different things that are going to work for you, and at the end of the day,
I really like that experiment. So what if it doesn't work out for you, or you just don't enjoy it, then move on and try something else.
Yeah. And maybe you need professionals. Like, you know, there's all sorts of like therapists out there that more or less are just like the conversation and, you know, to kind of guide you on your thoughts. And even that doesn't work for everybody either, too, because it's like, well, is it the therapist? And to kind of just figure out and maybe find different people that, you know, don't have to become best friends, but I mean, even in the group, right? There's people that are best friends and family, but there's obviously people that click, and you can even resources. Like I'll talk to anybody that has had a struggle, or, you know, just looking for somebody to talk to and how to work on themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, so many tips there. I love it. Lots of people to choose from.
Yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, I want to know, Sarah, what do you love about being you?
I love so many things about myself. And I've taken the time to really start to think about that. I think definitely number one, and probably what a lot of people say about me, is I am compassionate. I don't ever give up on any sort of creature. I'm that person who will, I spend my Christmases feeding people that of the vulnerable sector that don't have the financial or even just the community needs. I have taken in over 60 dogs to my home, dogs that have been sick and injured. And I've taken in, I'm always the first person that people will be like, hey, I need a last minute favor. Like, can you do this? And trying to understand other situations of people. And I'm that person who just always seems to want to do more. Like anytime there's somebody that really needs it, that compassionate heart that I have is definitely what I'm most loving in myself. That, I have that, which is kind of also, I'm patient. I can sometimes put up with a lot more, and that, happily wait for the reward at the end of the tunnel. I'm very brave. I went to Europe by myself. I decided one day I'm going, and I left 2 weeks later. And I was going to be gone for 3 months. And then it's like, oh, what did you do? Oh, I booked a trip to Europe and I'm leaving, and so be it. I was in New York and I got off at the wrong train station and couldn't get back to my hotel. So the train operator electrician was out at like 2 a.m. and because I got stuck in New Jersey instead of New York, I got off at two stops too wrong, hopped in the car with this, like, yeah, you'll be fine, miss, because what else did I have to do? So
I remember you telling me that one, actually.
Yeah. So I'll go anywhere. And at the end of the day, I'm also I'm pretty happy with my strength, physical and mental. Yeah, I've had some injuries, especially recently, and I still, I let myself push through them, and I get myself back to the physical strength where I was before. And mentally, even that takes a little bit of a toll, because of you feel your limitations of what you can't do, but it's okay, wait, it can always be worse. So just take a few minutes here, and what can you do? So
yeah, so true. I love that. And I know I haven't known you for a long time, but for the the interactions that we've had, whether it be online or obviously in my studio, you've been here a couple of times, and I just see like how committed you are to things, like no matter what it is. So like when you say you're going to be there, you're going to be there. Yeah, I love that.
And I guess just one thing I'll say is, I put on this shirt specifically. It says it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Everybody has that time where, you're not it's just not okay. And but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and find what you can find in yourself to bring you the joy. And there's always something.
Yeah. Oh, always. Yeah, always. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm having a terrible day today. I'm just not having my usual bubbly day, and I know why. It's because I've had very little sleep. Anyone that knows me knows I go to bed super early, and I did not. I went to bed at 11 p.m. and I still got up early, so I know that that's why my day is pretty low and feeling pretty sensitive. But I'm like, you know what? This day isn't the end. Tomorrow is a new day, and I'm just going to concentrate on the things that I know I can do today, and the things that are going to bring me joy, like you said. So yeah,
there's always something.
Kind of things. Yeah.
Find, I always try and say there's, always positivity, and not everybody's perfect, but try and find, I think, even for people who say that there's, nobody's full of all negativity. You can find one good thing in every single person in this world. Like, what, they may have made some mistake, but they also have something good in them. And you know, try and find that positive in them.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true. Awesome. Well, that's it from me. Thank you
Thank
again
you.
for joining in. And I just love this whole sharing is caring, because I don't have all the answers. I haven't done all the I haven't experienced everything. So I like to bring in other people, whether they're experts or, like yourself, just starting out and seeing where this journey is taking you. So I really appreciate your time and sharing what you have to share.
Thank you so much. I look forward to being in the studio again soon.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun time. And there'll be another Bear the Bums as well this year, obviously.
Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.